Today's movie is an entertaining and very unique throwback story. It also has a unique title. Summary of the movie, A Young Time Ago. This movie tells the story of a restaurant manager who had reason to share a very delicate story from his past. As the movie begins, we see a lady getting into her car while the stage play audio from which the movie was created played in the background. The lady called her friend Franca and was asking to be sure if what they were about to do will work. Franca assured her that it would work. She told her driver to take her to the restaurant, and he asked if it was the same restaurant they visited last week and spent hours at the car park. She said yes, and they drove out. At the restaurant, Mr. Gabriel walked in with Tayo. Mr. Gabriel owns the restaurant, and Tayo was giving him a rundown of their product orders. He told Tayo he has been exceptional for someone who has been on the job only a few weeks. He went on to tell him that he had a meeting in a few hours just close to the restaurant, and also remembered and told Tayo that he's expecting a guest, a young lady. He told Tayo to keep her comfortable and keep her company until he returns in an hour 30 minutes. Tayo asked his boss if he was trying to matchmake him, and Mr. Gabriel told him that matchmaking would not be a bad idea. But he told him not to worry, that Ukara, the lady coming, has a mind of her own. Ukara arrived and asked Tayo if he was a restaurant manager, and he said yes, and he told her to come with him. He took her to a comfortable seat and went to get them drinks from the bar. He got 2 glasses and a bottle of vodka as she requested. When he got back to sit with her, he found her crying and worriedly asked what the matter was. She told Tayo that she had just been served recently, so she finds herself crying every now and then. He consoled her and she said it was fine. She went on to ask him if he has ever been in love before. He said yes, but it was a long story. She said she is surprised that he's single, especially for his age. She asked Tayo to tell her the long story since they had the time. He was contemplating and she formally introduced herself. They shook hands and she told him to tell her his story from the beginning. He started by saying, a young time ago, back in university days, he fell in love with a girl called Kemi. In the throwback, we see Tayo's friend Chris, who is dating Kemi's friend, pushing and convincing him to make a move on Kemi, saying he liked her. Kemi was obsessed with her music and Tayo found it difficult to talk to her. He asked her if they could have lunch together, bringing out a 500 naira note. A popular ex-student, Magic, came into the school and Kemi got carried away because she had been desiring to meet him. After Magic signed autographs for students because he was a musician, he left in a hurry and Kemi couldn't meet him. She went back to Tayo and he reminded her about lunch and she said she's fine. He asked if she would still come to his room that night and she asked that they meet by the poolside first. At the poolside, they had some moments of chemistry. Kemi turned down going back with Tayo to his room because she wanted to attend Magic's party with her roommates. Tayo, disappointed, called his friend Chris and told him to put down what they had planned because she wasn't coming over anymore. Her friends complained that she was making them go late to the party because of Tayo, who they referred to as a poor boy. Magic and his guys arrived at the lady's house. After a while of waiting, they went up to their rooms to check on the girls. Kemi's roommate, who knew Magic, stepped out to talk and she asked if he likes Kemi, and Magic expressed his excitement, then paid her for the transaction. At the party, Magic danced with Kemi, after which he took her to the studio so that he could hear her sing. He stepped out to get pills from his dealer. The person making the delivery apparently had a personal vendetta against Magic and wanted him to take an overdose of the pill, so he didn't tell him he had to take a very small amount. Back at Tayo's room, his friend told him Shadow, a popular thug, came looking for him. His friend Chris asked him when he started familiarizing with Shadow. Tayo said they were not familiarizing in any way. He said he was walking one day and saw Shadow's boys running helter-skelter. He looked inside the room and saw Shadow getting electrocuted. So he picked a stick and hit Shadow, which saved his life. And since then, Shadow has been grateful to him. In the studio, Magic asked Kemi to sing an original. He clapped and applauded her when she was done. He told her to give him a moment to use the restroom. He took a large quantity of the blue pill and became very drowsy. He struggled to get back to the studio and he even fell down. He eventually met Kemi, choked her out and raped her. His friend saw him asleep on top Kemi. Magic was confused because immediately he entered the studio, he blacked out and he couldn't remember anything because of the effect of the drugs. A doctor attended to Kemi in Magic's room. Her roommate was so angry about the entire situation, but she decided to keep silent so they don't get expelled. The doctor told them she needed to rest for a few days, and her roommate decided to announce that Kemi was working on a single with Magic so that people don't start asking questions. After several days of silence, she called Tayo and told him about the incident. In anger, he started developing a desire to make sure Magic paid for what he did. Tayo met with Shadow and explained everything that happened. Shadow promised him that he would take care of it. Shadow and his crew took advantage of a night time at a party Magic attended. They paid a girl to lure him out and they captured him. While hitting him with the edge of his gun, Shadow told them why he hated rapists, because of how some men raped his mother in his presence when he was 12 years old. Shadow tried persuading Tayo to shoot Magic, but he couldn't. Magic got free and tried escaping, but Shadow shot a bullet straight into his heart from his back. He fell off the building dead. Tayo cried in regret because he never intended for Magic to die. Tayo spent the next few days being a shadow of himself, lost in thoughts and doing absolutely nothing. As the incident got exposed and its mystery unraveled, Kemi was summoned by the police to the Dean's of Student Affairs office in school. Kemi's father decided she would go to a school abroad so she can be away from all the drama. Her absence from school left Tayo miserable and it wasn't easy on him. One day in school, Chris talked negatively about Kemi because Tayo was still sulking and lost in thoughts about her. This made Tayo very angry and he warned him never to talk about her in that manner again, or else their friendship will end. Chris walked away. While he walked away, Tayo called him and apologized and told him in pidgin, "Bro, na me do am." Chris was confused and shocked. Tayo then said, "No be me do am, but na me do am." And this communicated crystal clear to Chris that Tayo didn't kill Magic, but he must have initiated it. Magic's friend overheard this conversation and called the authorities. Shadow got to serve life imprisonment. The others got 15 to 20 years, and he, Tayo, got 10 years because he chose to cooperate with the authorities on the condition that they would give Kemi her passport back and not tell her Tayo was the one. While in prison, he met Mr. Gabriel and they bonded. Mr. Gabriel was in prison because of a false accusation made by some politicians he worked with. When he was leaving prison, he made Tayo promise to reach out to him when he was out. And he did, and he said that was how he ended up at the restaurant where he got him a job. Kara cried a whole lot. She told him that if anybody deserves good fortune, it is him. He said no, that he isn't guiltless because his stupid decision killed Magic. She told him he did it because he loved her, and he called it stupid love. She asked him if he still loves her, and he said yes, he does, but sometimes he wonders what the point is, loving someone who has no clue how much you love them. So she told Tayo he can still tell her now. He said it can't happen. Still sobbing, she picked her phone and told someone on the other end of the call to come in. And to our greatest surprise, Kemi walked into the restaurant and Tayo was overwhelmed with shock and disbelief. Ukara excused herself to give them space to talk. Kemi asked for a hug. He excitedly said yes and sighed in relief. Then he asked to know how. She explained that after school she started working in London, and one day Uncle G called saying he had a story to tell her. This was when Tayo realized that the Uncle G she used to talk about in school was Mr. Gabriel. She apologized, saying she had no idea he went through all that, and when she heard that he was getting out, she came back to see him. She asked him to forgive her, but he told her she did nothing wrong and there was nothing to forgive. He told her he now knew how to go for what he wants. Breaking the moment, Mr. Gabriel cleared his throat loudly as he walked in with Ukara and told them to take the conversation to the other room. And to Tayo's greatest surprise, he saw Chris, his roommate from university days. They hugged, and he hugged Chris's wife, who he was shocked to find out was his girlfriend Franca from uni. They all walked out of the building in excitement, and Tayo thanked Mr. Gabriel again as they left. Standing alone, we see Mr. Gabriel recalling how long he has been orchestrating things to go well for Kemi and Tayo. And in the background audio, we hear Mr. Gabriel saying he serves the Master of Time, whose name is I Am. It is then revealed that Mr. G is actually an angel.